the 7 costly and complex challenges of big data analytics. Hi, my name is Thomas Hazel. I'm the founder and CTO here at Chaos Search. At Chaos Search, we transform customers' cloud object storage, like Amazon S3, into a massively scalable database, going after use cases such as observability, security, and application insights. Today, I'll be talking about the 7th of the 7 challenges of big data analytics. This last episode will cover data lifecycle. We will outline what it is and why it's important, but the focus will be on the problems one encounters at scale. You should see these episodes as a series where each leads into the next. Think of them as a journey, a data journey, where we'll examine everything from the actual sources generating the data to the extraction of value from them. So let's get started. What is data lifecycle? From birth to death, from source to destination, data seems to always be on a journey. If storage and compute were free, or there were no laws like right to be forgotten within policies such as General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR for short, organizations might never delete information. However, at scale, data gets extremely expensive, and customers do have liberties with regards to governance and sovereignty. Often is the case that platforms have whole controls and procedures around the lifecycle of data. And in this episode, we will focus on the complexity of scale when it comes to the day in the life of data. Up to now, the 7 challenges of big data analytics has been talking about the journey data goes through to derive value, from pipelines to preparation to destination and governance to data platform and data analytics. In a way, this series of episodes have been all about the data lifecycle. So in some regards, we've covered much of what makes it up and the challenge it has at scale. However, we have not talked about the long-term existence, challenges, or the complexity, and in many cases, the inability to delete data from existence, particularly at scale. The previous 6 episodes outline just about 90% of what data goes through throughout its life, and I encourage you to watch each one of these videos sequentially prior to this one. With that said, let's get started. First, let's talk about the challenges of long-term existence. There are 2 aspects to this, where the first is the desire to retain data for as long as possible to continuously derive insights, and the second is regulatory requirements, i.e. a company needs to store data for a time period. In the latter, I've seen upwards of 7, even 10 years, sometimes more, as a requirement. You can imagine how expensive and complex this can be. And the prior, the value companies can offer to their customers over time. I know for myself, when a service caps my analytical insights for no more than a month, let alone a year, it can be frustrating. And finally, internal organizational analysis of the data, whether it's for security or the understanding of some aspect of the company as a whole. The more you know, the better insights can be derived. The actual expense of retaining data is a result of the data platform one selects to store information for retrieval. In the case where a database supports deletion of information, an audit log is also required so that one can track such changes over time. Or a logging system where data is either deleted after a certain period or snapshot off for archival. In each one of these cases, growth can be exponential, and the complexity to manage it, well, nearly impossible. Now, if archival techniques are employed, one can simply move the data to cheaper storage. However, the time and cost to retrieve now becomes virtually inaccessible. And in a way, data that is too hard to get to, just about non-existent. And finally, lifecycle regulation, or the challenges within, are policies like GDPR. In this case, the biggest challenge comes when the protection requires data sovereignty of its location, as well as rights to access, rights to control change, and rights to be forgotten. One can imagine the complexity of setting up a system to handle such aspects. And scale, pretty much a nightmare. Now, organizations have created solutions that have achieved such goals of compliance. It's just extremely hard and expensive and needs an army to maintain. In a way, GDPR does protect customers, but can also stifle companies' growth and in the end, hurt the customer as a whole. Here at Chaos Search, we took a very different approach. As you watch all previous episodes, you will see a theme of leveraging object storage for all aspects of storage, governance, and lifecycle. In other words, cloud services like Amazon S3 have built in powerful policies and procedures for companies to automatically archive all data into cheaper and cheaper storage. It also has policies and procedures to delete data at time intervals. And it also is located across the world such that data locality rules are upheld easily and naturally. And finally, the nature of object storage has aspects where naturally deleting information, i.e. individual objects, without rebuilding the entire Taj Mahal is possible. And again, natural act. The trick for Chaos was to build a cloud data platform that only runs on cloud object storage in a serverless and stateless fashion. In other words, no persistence in local storage like SSDs or HDDs or expensive memory caches. No, at Chaos, we didn't do any of that. What we did was crack the code on leveraging pure cloud object storage to drive all aspects of our technology and architecture. So in conclusion, I hope you enjoyed this and all the data journey episodes and had a little fun while watching as we talked about the challenges of data at scale. And if you're interested in learning more about our cloud data platform and any of its capabilities, please check out our website, chaossearch.io. Thanks for joining us.